and jump into this call now and see how that goes.
Hello.
Hey, DJ.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good. I'm just adding a window capture here so I can add you to the stream. There you go.
It's gonna be weird.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
There's two of me.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit two of you. A little bit two of you.
Uh-huh.
All right, that should be that. And then now we're going to jump into the Puzzle Wizards world here. Let's do that. I'm going to get my chat back up over here. Hopefully OBS is looking the way that it should. Right. Got to keep that up over here. And this over here.
Lots of window juggling for you.
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little bit.
Alt-Enter to get it full screen. How does the stream look, guys? Because I can't really tell anymore because I got too many screens open. Do you see Puzzle Wizards and Cleaver? Yes or no? Let me see if I can find your... Oh, wow. There's actually a lot of adventures going on right now.
Yeah, it's a little busier. I sent you an invite to a guild.
Nice. Okay. Can I get to the... Yeah. Well, I see my guild hall. How do I get to your guild hall?
If you accept the invite, it should show up on your adventure panel.
Okay. Adventure
you might just be able to go to me too.
Yes, that's true as well. Let me see. Where are my friends? These are my friends. There we go.
There you go.
Hiya.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit of a prototype guild. I just put it together the other day, so it needs some decorating.
In-game sounds a bit loud. Okay, let me turn that down. Let me go back to Puzzle Wizards. There we go. And go to settings. Thank you guys for keeping up with that. All right, let me know if that's any better. Yes, so you've got the 3 different towers. Is there a specific adventure we need to be going on today?
Not particularly. We can do whichever one you fancy.
Let's see, which one do I have the least? I am not hurting in Moon, but I'm hurting in everything else. So let's go for Star.
Do the Star. Star's pretty.
All right.
Sun's a little bit.
Oh, we could start a middle, yeah. And then I guess people can join in. They'll just see it.
Yeah, sure. I'll make it public. Why not? More the merrier, right?
Of course.
Alrighty, let's go.
I did it again, didn't I? There we go.
Whee!
Yes, impatient me running as fast as I can. Oh, that's new. I feel like the background of this is new.
Always changing things. Yeah, we made the monsters a little more active in the puzzles, so you can see them doing stuff. Stream seems to be going great. Congratulations.
Good, yeah, I was kind of worried about it because, I mean, this is not a supercomputer by any means, but it's supposed to get the job done. I don't really know much about computers, so I just asked my little brother who knows everything about computers. Wow. I got wrecked immediately.
You did, yeah. Pretty hardcore.
It's my fault. I wasn't taking the damage seriously.
You gotta take your damage seriously, man.
There we go, and then maybe, yes. Okay, so chat. Come help me, chat. Download Puzzle Wizards on Steam.
iOS and Android.
Oh yeah, and on your phone, and on your tablet. I have it on all 3.
You cannot escape.
Are you really soloing this? I mean, I guess you've had some practice.
For a little while. It may not last. I might be able to get this guy. We'll see. I have had some practice. I'm still bad at the puzzles, though. It's like the old thing of people sword fighting me on the docks, and they're like, "Oh my god, I beat Cleaver." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not that hard."
It's yeah, it's not an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's an accomplishment. It's just not a rare and challenging accomplishment. This is one of the golden rules of being a game developer, though, is that if you can play your players at the puzzle, like if there's any way to, compete, if you like, with your players, then you're going to lose, because your players are going to know more about the game than you do. They're going to be better at it than you are, etc., etc. I'm sure there's the rare Fortnite developer that's actually, competitive at playing Fortnite.
Sure, yeah. What's my friend code? Yeah, let me help you with that. Hold on.
Social panel.
Yep. I think I'm just in battle, so I can't do that, but I was wondering if I could do it from my...
You can bail out.
No.
You got reinforcements on the way.
I'm gonna exit the puzzle and go to my... Where is my social... Okay, yeah, there's Pepper Rocks. Am I not... It's probably because I'm not full screen. There we go. Social panel. And my friend code is here. I'm gonna copy it. Paste it into the stream chat. There you go, guys. I accept. Okay. Back into it we go.
I'm glad it's not me on the stream. It's one thing soloing the big mob, but doing it on public stream would be extra challenge.
I always forget that one can be nervous. Geologist was helping me sail blindfolded earlier, and he was the nerves were getting to him because he knew like 60 people were watching, and I'm broken. I'm just a broken person. I don't get stage shy anymore. The last gig I did, I performed for like 50 people, just me and a piano, and it was like really intimate, and it was like dead quiet, and I was just like, this is what I like.
Right.
Attention. Doesn't bother me at all anymore.
All the guys down in the corner here. Oh, you're doing the mix? Go ahead and do the mix. There's enough people now in the place that we can divide and conquer. Yeah.
Jeez Louise, guys. How big can a team
piled
get?
In. We stop advertising them on the notice board thingy when they get to 8. The game is kind of designed for 4-player co-op, but can support. You can get a lot more in, because if people are friends, then they can still join. So I have not seen, I think, more than 10, but I do believe that there is no hard limit. So maybe we can max it out today. Let's see.
Yeah, I guess we could find out.
Yeah. Let's see how it breaks. Well, we made short work of that one. Fortunately, we have some, from the look of it, pretty experienced players in here, so that's good. All right. Have a seat at the clearing table.
Yeah, this is new too. I like this concept.
Yeah, it works out nicely, although it does rely... Here we go. Yeah, we've got one more coming. It does rely on everyone getting together. But yeah, we had, as you know, Jazz, a previous thing where we required everyone to stand over the chest when you were opening a big chest and tap on it, and then the chat popped up and you had to hang out for a minute. But that turned out to be kind of annoying and was getting in the way of people.
Well, I like the idea that it's a campfire, and it's like it's really like you're resting overnight, and then you still get to use the assets you made, or like the shaders that you made to make it so beautiful at night. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it was good, a good hack. We actually removed the day-night cycles. Oh man, I got freeze. These freeze mobs are evil. Yeah, we removed the day-night cycle from the adventures recently because it was kind of made for some weird outlooks, but we have kept it in the village and other public places like guilds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do like the way it changes the day-night, but it's kind of weird in adventures, and so that was a nice way to bring it back in, was to have the clearing do the day-night cycle. Yeah, it's fun being able to do things like day-night cycle and other stuff with shaders. It's a big difference from 3D to 2D with what you can kind of changed the look of the game completely just by changing numbers.
Oh, 100%. Like, Minecraft never appealed to me, but then when I started to see shader mods and just how beautiful they could make the base game, it was just like,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
Someone in chat said, I thought the rumor was Cleaver had no nose. So Cleaver does have a nose, but Peghead is actually a peg for a head. I can confirm that one.
For those that don't know, Peghead is one of the developers of Puzzle Pirates back in the very beginnings of the game, and is also a developer on Puzzle Wizards.
Yep.
Got the
Do you remember
crew
where that name came from? Did you
together.
just say what do you want to be named, and he just started typing something?
Yeah, I mean, he comes up with the weirdest names, man. He really has some, bizarre names. Some of them are non-quotable on even your mature channel. I'm not gonna tell people what some of his secret names are, but yeah, he's a eclectic fellow. But hey, aren't we all, eh?
It takes all kinds, truly.
Yeah. You've got to be kind of eclectic to make games or even play some of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say that, like, you have to have some very imaginative people to make a game, because you have to get enough buy-in for them to not even see what they're working on for sometimes years, right? So it's like, when it's done, it will look like this, and they have to be able to believe that from the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal, to be honest, because even when you have a lot of work in, which, a year or so ago with Puzzle Wizards, we were kind of at this stage where, like, we've done a lot of work, we've made a lot of stuff, but it wasn't quite, holding together. We needed to polish it a lot. It, wasn't as fun as it needed to be, etc., etc. And that's really hard. That's a really hard phase to be in, because you're like, well, how long is it going to take? And it took a long time to, keep getting it right. With Puzzle Pirates, I don't know. I remember this phase 2. It was a little quicker because I don't know how we managed to make that game, to be honest, in the time we did. Maybe it was a bit simpler, although it has more puzzles than this game does. Game development has gotten harder in some ways. Like our ability to ship something with Puzzle Pirates, it was really kind of rough and early. As I can't enjoy this puzzle. The puzzles max out at 4 players, so in this case, we're standing still. Maybe I'll harvest some clay. Yeah, it's the dark slough of despond before you actually get something that you're happy with. It's pretty hard sometimes.
I mean, when you were developing Puzzle Pirates with your team, you had them all in a single office, right? No one was working remotely.
Yeah, and
that probably. I mean, it was probably quite literally like you were on a ship, because you were charting a course, and you weren't even you could wake up any morning and not be sure if the ship was gonna just crash and burn. And so I feel like there's some camaraderie to be had, and I bet you guys were just working 5 times harder than, what remote teams can do. I mean, in my mind, that's kind of how I see it.
It's definitely hard to do any kind of innovation remotely. I think that, you can have a really great business and you can just kind of run it remotely, and I think Puzzle Pirates does well with a remote team, and it works really well for them because they, we get people all over the place working on the game. When you're trying to make something new, I think it's really hard. And the reason I think it's really hard is because not because people don't work as hard. Like,
no.
Jack and the other guys have been cranking, but Nemo and so on, they're really productive people. Unlike me, I'm not that productive. But the problem is when it comes to like questions that have to be answered that are hard, and where you want to have real debate in the team. And so we, as you know, use Slack for like online chat, and Slack's fine, but having design discussions on Slack is like some sort of intermediate circle of hell. It's not a great way to do that, and it's hard though when you want to get something decided to have the discipline of saying like, oh no, we're not going to argue about this on Slack right now. We're going to do the right thing and get together on a video chat or whatever and have a proper conversation about it. Yeah, so that's been really difficult. Whereas in contrast, when we had an office and we were just hanging out together all the time, we would argue about stuff, wave our hands around, HWFO and so on, and you can be emotional in a way that is not as difficult to deal with over remote. And then we go to lunch, and when we came back from lunch, everything's been worked out. It was like a consistent pattern where the debate of the day would come with us through a meal, and by the time we'd kind of kicked it around for an hour in a different sitting, then we would kind of have worked out what we wanted to do. And I miss that a lot.
Yeah.
That was the big win, really, in terms of getting stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, I can picture it, but only because I found like the 15 seconds of public video of more than one person in that office at a time. So I can kind of see, I could see the room in my mind.
The party video?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have taken, it's so sad, like we were just before the era of taking video. I do have some video footage somewhere of the office. I did like a walk around once for a thing because the office was great and it was a fun place to work out of. But that was way later that we had the fancy steampunk office. That was like 2007 that we moved in there. We were in Mike's loft for a long time before that. It was cozy, especially for him, poor guy. We were showing up in his house every day and disturbing his adult life, but it worked out.
I had
Second off is gone.
Oh, I was gonna say I had a very strange dream where it was like right after you had allowed me to come on as a sound designer. And you know how dreams will come when you're anxious about something? Like
sure.
that's when the dreams kind of come the most for me, is when I've been thinking about something in the back of my mind all day, and I feel like, at least for my mind, it's the thing that you think about the most during the day is most likely going to be what you dream about. So I had a dream that you and like the entire team and me were in just like some random basement just working on the game, but like we were in like four corners of the basement, so like we weren't like near each other, but like I could walk around and you guys were just doing your thing, and I didn't think it was strange because it was a dream, but then I got up and I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it was a weird one. It was a stress dream because I wanted to do right by it, So.
Well, it's I think you've got the sound on. I'm not listening, obviously, not looping back everything. So, but the game sounds great. I'm really happy with how the sounds turned out. I think it's really suits the game, and it sounds crisp and fun and cheerful. That's exactly what I was looking for. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and your friend too. Your friend is great.
Yeah, Chris did some beautiful stuff too, and funnily enough, Chris did the original music of Puzzle Pirates, some of which is still, and some of the sound effects. So let's see, he did the bilge sound effects, he did the drinking sound effects. That's Chris in the bloop 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 bloop, rah, burping and so on. So there's a history there as well, but it's not his jam or aspiration to make some sound effects or music for games. He actually makes his own music for his own kind of entertainment and amusement, and doesn't really put it out anywhere, which is kind of a shame because it's really beautiful. But,
I mean, my
music business is brutal, as you know. And it's
100%. And I told you before, I'd never even considered trying to put myself out in the game design world, because it is a totally saturated market. For every opportunity to compose for a game, there's 50 people with a perfect resume for it. So it's just but that being said, I'm in the same boat as Chris as far as, you know, I make music personally, but the only reason that I even put it out, I'll put it on Spotify and then I'll go on Facebook and say, I made a thing if you want to see the thing, and then after that I don't think about it again, because you know, doing art for personal enjoyment is like the best kind of oh gosh, I'm getting slimed to death. I just realized. It's just like the best kind of like fulfillment, you know, when you're not looking for that positive, negative feedback stuff. I mean, streaming, I do that in streaming, I do that in my professional life, but sometimes you just want to make something without caring what an audience would say. Very freeing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think that's, you know, obviously fully legit, and with music it's such a personal thing, and I've never made music really myself, but I've always kind of aspired to. When I was young, I thought I was going to be a electronic synthesizer jockey musician or something. That was my early 80s,
when I first saw you, I thought you were Daedalus, which is a British-based electronic music synthesizer guy. So I'll have to show you a picture of him later, but yeah,
my alter ego.
Yes, no, 1,000,000%. Like
my childhood goal. Funny.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Daedalus composer. This guy.
All right, I'll check him out.
See?
Got the goofy.
See, he's got a little bit of like the Puzzle Pirates look.
A little bit of
you know,
that
a little
vibe,
bit. He's a little quirky, a little fun.
Yeah.
Just a little though.
Suit. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He makes really interesting music, and he started composing music for video games recently. He's got one on Steam called it's a Steam game that is fencing, and it's a 2D fencing game.
Nice.
It's a very, very interesting game. Very fun.
Great.
Yep, just who pokes who first. That's the whole premise.
I wonder. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't pursue my childhood dream, in no small part because I'm completely talentless at music.
Well, now you got Google Bard. You know, you can just go on Google Bard and say, "I want."
Yeah, I'm not down with that.
It is, yeah, it's getting there. AI is getting strange.
I know it's getting there, and like it's going to be amazing when we can press a button and get whatever we want in every possible way. But it's also going to be a bit sad because there's going to be some number of people, perhaps pretty much everyone, are going to be really happy just pressing the button, and that's going to reduce the available meaning created for lots of other people in the world who get meaning in their lives by making stuff that other people enjoy, you know? If all the games are being made by computers and all the music's being made by computers and all the TV and videos are made by computers, then putting aside the economics and challenges of that, it's just going to be a bit sad.
You know how you go to like a modern art place, and just for example, I went to the MoMA a couple weeks ago, and I saw it was a pillow that had been bungee corded to the wall. And when you look at that, you're like, okay. But then you read the context of it, and you're like, okay, I get what he's trying to say. And then you start to think, well, if AI still needs prompting, and if AI needs prompting, that means there's human intention behind a product. So if you combine something that's impressive to look at or to experience with the context of what the artist was trying to convey, and then they prompt it, no, that's not what I want. I don't want a pillow bungee corded to the wall. You click it again, it's like, oh, that's a banana duct taped to the wall. It's like, okay, well, we're getting somewhere, you know, and then, you know, so maybe we find meaning in what we intended to give to each other as opposed to the process of how we made it. I don't know, but I guess we'll experience it soon.
Yeah, I think you're onto something for sure. That there is something there, but I don't know. I mean, I've talked about this obviously with lots of folks because it's the topic du jour with everyone who's paying attention to what's going on with AI, and the strength of feeling among, for example, some artists is pretty fierce, and I think that's very relatable when you've spent your by perfecting a skill, or growing your skill, you're never perfect or whatever. And now someone can tap, put it into Midjourney and get something that it's not just looks good, but also looks a lot like the thing that you've spent the time learning how to make.
Sure.
I think that's really that's just a hard place for someone to be in. And to some degree, all of us who do keyboard work or creative work or whatever you want to call it, are facing that down. A game designer like me is, can you ask ChatGPT to design a game? You sure can. Does it do a great job? Well, it's not bad. It's not, creative, particularly. It's not, inspired necessarily, but it's certainly on the level where, if you were trying to grind out generic clone game designs, you might think, oh, we can do this with this tool. And that's just, that's going to be really, our society is in no way prepared for this. It's deeply disturbing. And like my kids, for example, I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old, and both of them are interested in creative stuff. My 13-year-old is always pitching me games when we go for a walk. He's got a new idea for a game, despite me being like, I don't know, man, game design, etc. But what are you supposed to say as a parent to a daughter who loves to draw and do art and is growing and developing her skills as an artist? It's like, what are you going to say? I mean, I kind of don't really want to talk about it with them at the moment, which is a bit of I'm of the school of, talk to your children about uncomfortable things. But this is one where I'm like, wow, this is just a bit big and hard to fathom what the right answer is.
Yeah. It's one thing to have a conversation with your kid and feel that comfort of knowing that you had that same predicament and you pulled through, but it's another to say, hey, there's something scary ahead, and you say, I think it's scary too. I'm in the same boat as you. It's very strange.
Right. Or yeah. And I mean, what I don't want to do is be like, okay, kids, it's all over. You might as well.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's just a terrible thing to be coming out with. So it's an interesting conundrum, and it ain't going away anytime soon. I do think that there are going to be ebbs and flows in this process. Like, there's been a very rapid period of scary progress in AI, and I think that that's probably going to get not dialed back. That's certainly not going to happen, but progress may be slower for a while, so it's not going to happen perhaps as quickly as the most alarmist predictions would predict. But we'll see. Wow, these freeze guys are just brutal. getting completely iced here. I've got nothing but a snowman all over my screen.
Yeah, they're not nice.
Well, we're on the challenging middles, and also we have a big group now, which I think can make it pretty difficult. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to, every time you open up a new section, we're trying to scale difficulty based on the people who are there. A bit like in Puzzle Pirates, where you've got red boats and so on after you've been going for a while, and it gets harder. But yeah, lots of wrinkles there, as you've probably seen in the Discord chat. People who are like, it's too hard, and so on. The stats aren't, there are definitely some foibles in the algorithm, but it can be hard to track those down. We're always tweaking it as well.
Yeah. Is there like a hidden indication of ability that gets calculated? Like, if like
No,
someone...
yeah.
someone's speed, like if you could calculate their kind of quickness to break, especially like yellows, and then if you come up with an algorithm for that, then all of a sudden you got 5 people in the game and 3 of them are very casual, 2 of them are hardcore, so you calculate all that together to figure out what the best challenge would be for all of them.
It would be a good idea, right? I was just thinking about this yesterday, and I think we need to do some more of that. Actually, what we're doing right now is just very simply looking at your win-loss ratio. So if you keep winning, we make it harder for you. We don't make it harder for everyone in your party, so it's quite relativistic at the moment. I'm giving away secret sauce here, but that's okay. What else live streams for? So yeah, if you personally have been winning a lot and steamrolling everything, then we ramp up the difficulty, which is a little weird, and I think something that is a little more sensitive to how your performance is as a group and looks at performance. What we're not doing in Puzzle Wizards yet is doing the same thing we do in Puzzle Pirates, where we have kind of a rating based on how your performance is in the puzzle. Yeah, we don't have standings. We don't have experience either right now, and I think that both of those are kind of they're a little bit missing. We probably want to add both of those in the next. Oh, I got some honey. In the next few months, because it's fun to people need a bit more reinforcement. We don't give people a lot of like, you've gotten better, you did well, and we're also not doing, as with Puzzle Pirates, we're not doing as much of the number goes up as we probably should. One of the persistent debates with Puzzle Pirates was like, how much do we have numbers? And there are very few kind of performance numbers in the game. We obfuscate them with words and so on. I am coming round to the idea that we might want to have more numbers in Puzzle Wizards, because we're competing with games that have very well adjusted and kind of balanced progression curves, and so we kind of need more tools in the box to make the player feel good about what they're doing. And one of the ways when I'm pitching Puzzle Wizards to venture capitalists or people who don't play a lot of games is to say, well, it's kind of like Candy Crush meets World of Warcraft with a bit of Animal Crossing thrown in. And using big games obviously as an example where it's not necessarily applicable, because the game is obviously nothing like as, ooh, I got a crab fam egg. My goodness, I'm getting some good loot today. Talking of reinforcement. So like, well, World of Warcraft, very simple, like pretty much every RPG has levels, right? You go up levels and you play more and you go up levels. And I think that that's probably, it's a tool in the box that we have issued in our games generally, but I'm not sure that was necessarily wise. And in this case, I think we probably should pick it up. I have, and one of the reasons why Puzzle Pirates doesn't have a lot of numbers is that I have a kind of personal aversion to number progression systems, like level curves and so on.
Because you love words so much.
Partly, but actually no. The thing is that I just find the kind of I just find it kind of obnoxious and doesn't work for me. I think that because I played a lot of games, obviously, when I was younger, and I started making muds when I was pretty small. I was like my son's age, I was 13. I played mud, I leveled up, I got to Wizard, which was only 10 levels, if I recall correctly, in that game. Where you got to Wizard, but a bunch of experience and grinding. And since then, or somewhere thereafter, I just kind of lost the grind. I lost that desire to make the number go up and get to the next level and so on. I think of it as kind of a cognitive weakness. I don't think it's I'm not proud of this, but it's just one of those things that it turned out that maybe I burnt out my dopamine system somehow. Or there's also an element, though, of being behind the curtain when you make games and you realize, oh, this is how they work. And you understand, what you're doing with a game. Then playing it yourself. You've seen behind the curtain. It's not necessarily as fun, or it's just kind of, yeah. But this is more to do with me, I think. My colleagues, fortunately, are very active game players and play loads and loads of games and do a lot more of that than me. So
Yeah.
glad. Great.
Well, I'm sure most people in chat would at some point have done the thing where maybe you jailbroke your phone when you were 13 years old and you downloaded Candy Crush and you got unlimited moves and you got unlimited levels and you got all unlimited boosters. The moment that you give yourself access to every part of a game with no punishment, the game is over. Something inside you goes, oh, I was doing this because I was motivated to make number go up. But once that's over, you feel like a sense of like capitalist depression, where it's like, oh, so none of that actually mattered. I feel like that was so insightful as a kid to say like, you know, it's no matter how high I make the number go in my life, that's not going to mean anything to me. So it's good. I think it's a good thing to peel back that curtain, at least in one aspect. You always want to have some sort of like art or creativity where every time you approach it, you just say, wow. Like for me, that's jazz, because I've got 2 degrees in music, but I've never fully understood jazz. But I don't want to fully understand jazz, because then the moment that I'm sitting there and analyzing it instead of just having an old fashioned in my hand and just like being in it, that's gonna ruin it for me. So you need like the experience of really understanding a form inside and out to understand to remove the magic from it, so that you can learn what it's like to actually take away the magic from something in your life, and then all the other things, you need to just be happy that they exist. And maybe you don't, ignorance is bliss sometimes. There we go. I figured out how to sit. Jeez Louise.
You should just be able to tap on the thing and sit down.
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately, I think we have hit a bug. Love it. I got you to eat a bug. Now we're eating another bug, because we're not getting our new clearing. We did our day-night cycle and nothing is. I have to wipe.
It's all good.
Yeah. I'll put another.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll hop back to the clearing. All right. Back to the star tower with me.
Oh, I'm the party leader. Let's see.
Yeah, you have to leave too.
Yep. Leave. Okay. Join.
I just missed you. Yeah. There you go. Onward. Maybe we get a different group. That was a nice bunch of folks. Cool.
This was fun to recreate this song. That's the first time I've ever done that. To just say, like, here's a song, now do it again.
What was the song?
This was Chris's song originally, the song that's playing in the Starwoods right now, but I just rearranged it a little bit and made it louder.
I remember. Yeah. You've not done remixes before?
I've, kind of embarrassing, but I've always been kind of adamantly against mashups and remixes and stuff. But the one time I really was into it, I was like 20 years old, and I saw The Great Gatsby, and I thought that the Lana Del Rey like EDM like thing that they did was just so amazing and gorgeous that right when I went home, I started remixing that song. And I did it for like a few hours, and then after that I was like, okay, that was it. That was like the one time that I just felt enough inspiration to say, I'm gonna take someone else's stuff and just do it again. I don't know, it's never appealed, but it did that time, and it did this time. So
nice. I used to love mashups back before I was blessed by children and all the rest of it. In middle age, when I used to go to clubs, there was a club called Booty in San Francisco, which of course suited me down to the ground because, you know, pirate themed.
It was a pirate theme?
Well, you know, they would have pirate nights, but it had kind of pirate iconography because the whole thing was mashups night. So it was all mashups. One of the first times I'd ever heard of mashups when it first came around in like the mid 2000s. It was like, this was an idea that you know, people would go out and dance to whatever. Rihanna meets AC/DC or something, and so, you know, I actually used to go wearing this very hat that you're seeing on the stream right now.
It's seen a lot of action.
At the club in a pirate hat.
Yes. I love that.
Did not give a bleep, but yeah, it was a fun night.
I love it.
Still going, actually. Like literally, whatever it is, 18 years later, it's still functioning. I think it's not a weekly.
You still have the coat?
I do not have that red coat. The red coat that is in the profile picture that I still use from ages ago. The red coat got lost at stupid excuse my French, stupid Burning Man. I actually got nicked at Burning Man, which is really sad.
That doesn't surprise me, but it's still upsetting.
It surprised me, but it was a weird situation where my wife and I, not married at the time, she was my girlfriend, we only just started dating. We were there, and it was the end of the event, and the van that we'd hired got broken down, and so we couldn't leave, and so we were stuck there for a couple more days before we managed to get a tow truck to come and take the van out, and all my stuff was stacked up next to, you know, where the vehicle was waiting to go, and some people came by and just kind of assumed that it had been abandoned or something, or they had the opportunity. So it wasn't like it got stolen, you know, out at the evening out or something. It was like there was a pile of stuff by the side of the road, and some guys just thought it was like, you know, when you leave stuff on the side of the street, at least in San Francisco, it's like, help yourself, by all means, you know, have this crappy table or whatever that I'm leaving outside. And so, but they won. They got they got a nice prize there. They got a couple of nice coats. I do still have a bunch of pirate clothes. I almost dressed up for this, but you're not going to see very much of my.
Well, you'll have plenty of time to dress up when you start streaming, so.
Yeah, I need to get to that. I have not yet broken the ice in streaming. But, you know, Steam now has this whole thing where they really want developers to stream stuff. They have it, you know, it's like
an incentive for you to do it as a developer?
Well, it's a visibility incentive. So if you stream, then they are more likely to, you know, promote your thing.
To boost your game, that sounds right to me. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but that's the one of the motivations I have for doing it. I never really aspired to being a streamer, but hey, something
but here
new.
you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Yeah, might as well.
It's good to stretch oneself at my age, especially. Very easy to, very easy. It would be almost the default path to recluse oneself from new challenges.
Sure.
That's one of the reasons why we made Puzzle Wizards, was I was reclusing myself from new challenges and pretty much everything, and realized that was not going to...
Well, I mean, parenthood is the ultimate new challenge, so...
I guess so, yeah. But also a way of how can I put this? It's a great excuse for not doing other things, and a very valid excuse for not doing other things. So, as an example for me personally, I like martial arts. I've been training in martial arts for 20 years. And it's been great. It does a lot for me. I think it's got lots of health benefits, but also psychologically it really helps to spend time training. Why don't I go to the dojo more often? Well, there are reasons. Like anyone, I can be lazy and whatnot, and don't feel like it, and so on. One of my best excuses, though, is, well, I got to make dinner. I've got the kids, you know, I hang out with my kids, make dinner for the kids, you know, do the kind of parenting stuff. It's just an example of how, for me anyway, I, you know, use the family obligations as a means of kind of giving myself a pass from things that I should and, you know, do enjoy and get a lot out of when I do them.
Well, I mean, that's more reflection than most people, so you're halfway there by knowing that that's happening.
I guess so. Yeah. Certainly. Most of us are driven around a lot of the time by bits of our brain that we're not aware of.
I just cleared a spider door in 5 moves, just so you know.
That's good, because I'm flailing around with my... Yeah, I think I'm going to bust out. I've got 16 moves. Maybe I'll make it. What do you think? Do you think the spiders are triggering? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was someone who was a little. So the first when Hogwarts Legacy came out, the very first mod that came out that was popularized was the Arachnophobia mod, which just turned all the spiders into blocks. I wonder if that could be a setting. I mean, that sounds like a lot of freaking work, but you know, if you could just turn spiders into blocks, or spiders into something else, I don't know. But to say, I don't know, like, where can I, you know, ChatGPT, tell me how many people are afraid of spiders on, like, at a national level? Because if it's like, you know, if you're gonna spend a week of development on something that's gonna affect 0.0000001% of your player base, I don't know. Maybe it's just like, don't do the spider puzzle, let your teammate do the spider puzzle. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty significant number of people. It's like the #1 phobia, I think.
Man.
You know, judging by my kids and my daughter anyway, it's like, it's pretty, you know, you don't have to have a particular problem with spiders to be freaked out by them.
You think it's James and the Giant Peach that did that?
Very friendly. What's that?
I think James and the Giant Peach is the reason. I think spiders aren't scary, but that movie was.
I mean, yeah. Have you ever read the books?
Yeah.
Any of Roald Dahl? I mean, Roald Dahl.
Oh, I love Roald Dahl. Yeah.
Freak. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was very strange. Yeah.
Very, very disturbed.
I loved Danny, the Champion of the World. That was my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've read some of them to my kids. I'm not averse, you know, I'm kind of a believer in that kind of idea that exposing, I mean, this is where a lot of fairy tales come from, is, you know, we're going to expose children to really scary things because it helps them to, you know, model the world and the lessons thereof and so on. But,
sure.
Yeah, so it's, but yeah, it's weird business. It's interesting how these stories, you know, do kind of implant yourself in impressionable young psyches. My mum, bless her, kept a lot of the old books that my parents used to read to me in the 70s, and I've now read them to my children, and they have a whole kind of eye-rolling routine around, like, oh God, this freaky 70s children's books. One called Zerelda's Ogre, where the young girl is captured by an ogre but feeds him so well that he decides to keep her as a chef and is happily ever after. But it's a very disturbing book to be reading to children. This, you know, child-eating ogre as the main character.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's lessons there. It's got to be. I don't know. When I said parenthood is the ultimate adventure, I meant because I have no, you know, it's been a mystery, a tale as old as time, that when you put something in, you don't know what comes out, you know, and the nurture and the nature and the, you know, you could literally anything I can think of, I'm like, does this affect the child in a negative or a positive way or what, you know? And like like my wife is like a very, very anxious person, obviously has anxiety, and I used to, when I first met her parents, I was like, it was them. They're the reason my wife is such an anxious person. And then one day I sat down with them, we had a meal, and I said, has Haley always been this way? Oh, I got a donation. I gotta figure out where, how do I see? Little Wing, thanks for the 75, appreciate you. And she was like, And my mother-in-law was like, no, she's always been this way since she was 3 years old. She used to sit in her closet and look at her clothes for a half an hour and cry because she didn't know what she was gonna wear. And we encouraged her, as much as we could that it didn't really matter, but and I have similar stories in my childhood where I was just so defiant, regardless of how kind my dad was as a person and how much he, told me to make space for other people. I was just such a jerk. So it's just like, it's a real mystery, parenthood.
Like every parent, I have some of these observations or concerns myself, and the evidence is that a lot of it is nothing to do with the environment and everything to do with the individual. Just people pop out in a certain way. But certainly, when my daughter's being difficult, as she was just an hour ago, she wouldn't eat her lunch. Like, why? Why is she like this? My wife's like, oh, I was like this too. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, okay. We haven't modeled this behavior necessarily, but it rolls downhill anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think they actually,
to the point of defiance, you were saying you were defiant. I do think that there is, there's something to be said for that. In the world that we live in, if you're not defiant and you're not willing to or insistent upon driving your own boat in some ways, then that's an advantage, right? That's actually a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just not a good thing for the people who don't get paid enough to educate your children, which is funny because as someone who became an educator, it's like those exact kids were the ones that I cared about the most because I knew what they were going through, but at the same time they were the ones that made my life the hardest. And I had teachers that felt the exact same way, that treated me extremely well, but regardless of how well they advocated for me, I was still their terror. So it's
right.
It's a strange thing.
What a perspective they're going from being a defiant kid to being a teacher, and that's really interesting.
Yep. Yep. And now I'm in the finance world, weirdly. So here we are.
How's the arsehole quotient?
How's the what?
Excuse my French, but the barrel stopper quotient. Like, are you constantly?
No, my place of work is fantastic, actually.
Right.
I'm doing a lot of work, and I'm very, very busy all the time, but I'm just treated so extremely well. I'm super surprised in how I landed, because most everyone in my job tells me how in any other situation it would be the pits. But the situation that I landed into was great, so happy about it.
That's true. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oi. Mixy time.
Any questions in the chat? I haven't been paying much attention to the.
Yeah, that's all right. We've got a few minutes. What part of the finance world do you work in? I work in executive search. So, my firm gets paid retainers to locate senior level talent for major banks, consulting firms, and the likes. So that's the world I live in. Any questions for Cleaver though before he gets off? Because
oh yeah, we're at time.
Time
flies when you're playing puzzles.
That's it. Delegation, no jokes. Jeez. Real questions, not questions about crap in puzzle cards. Come on. If you want a familiar, just donate and win one. Come on. Nahima says thank you. Okay, slime, please. Whoa! I just heard a negative sound, and I'm not sure whether I made it or not.
No, that was me. I got KO'd.
Yeah, but I think I literally made that sound, but I'm not sure if I did or not. I heard it and I was like, that's a new sound. Wait, did I make that sound?
Oh, right, yeah. I think you did.
I think I did, yeah, because
Yeah.
I think it's the first time I'm hearing it in context, which is what was confusing.
It's the bridged it sound.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of loot bouncing around in this dungeon. It's pretty cool when you have a big party like this. You get lots of stuff popping out everywhere. Where's this bird gem go? Oh,
I
man,
wonder if a lot of games are piloted by like Clash of Clans. It's very much like you have to get on, because if you don't, you're disappointing 6 people because you have to do your weekly bounties, etc., etc. So I wonder what kind of that logic you can bring into the game, where it's like, if you get your entire guild together, or 8 people in your guild together, that there's like a once a week bonus reward chance, something like that,
Yeah, we are thinking about this kind of stuff right now. The main problem, before we start putting guild incentives like that in, is just getting people into the guilds right now. There isn't enough. There aren't enough places to get hooked up into a guild. It's kind of hard to get yourself in there. If you have to bump into Marmalade, you get recruited if she likes you. But partly also there aren't enough guilds. We actually were charging to, the first thing that we charged for was to make a guild, and we got rid of that just recently to try and encourage people to make more of them. That side of the game is obviously, from Puzzle Pirates, really important. That's the thing that's going to make it all work. So,
Sure.
It's no good if players aren't finding their way into guilds. That's a real problem. Once we get more players into guilds, then we'll definitely look at ways to. I mean, there's a quid pro quo there, right? Is like one of the ways we'll get more players into guilds is if we have more incentives to join guilds. For the guild master to have more people in their guild, etc., etc. So it's all a big ball of interconnected things that we need to wind up and release. But
yes, glad that's not my job. Sounds like a lot.
It's we've been working on the game for 3.5 years, so it gets complicated. More and more stuff to do. It's never-ending stuff. So it's complicated, and we're a really tiny team. I mean, there are 5 of us. Doing the 2 engineers, 2 artists, and me, and I'm not that useful. Not writing code or making art anyway. Maybe useful for other things occasionally, important things perhaps, but I am enjoying doing this. Kind of like in the very first days of Puzzle Pirates, I'm the only customer service kind of person, and I am enjoying that a lot. When you talk to staff in the chat interface, that goes straight to me.
Yeah.
That was something I did way back in the day on Puzzle Pirates, and I kind of it would be much harder to do it now with a lot more players and so on than there were, but I kind of missed that. And so it's nice to get back to having a close connection to the players.
Camaraderie, and I don't know. I'm excited by all of it, honestly. I mean, I've told you that before, but I am. The last question in the chat was, Cleaver, can you explain how to get the Jinxed Idol trophy? That's still a mystery after, 20 years? No one knows how to get the Jinxed Idol trophy.
Been in the game for 20 years?
It's been in the game for 20 years, and the only thing we know about it is that you log in for the first time on a day and you get it. It could be any day. Some people don't have it and they've had an account for 15 years. Some people get it in 5 days. No one knows how to get the Jinxed Idol trophy, other than the fact that you get it when you log in for the first time in a day. It's rewarded to you for some reason. Still a mystery.
I have no idea. Someone would have to look at the code to find that out. I'd forgotten about that. I would like to think that we weren't just, scuppering with the player on that, but it sounds
You very well could
like,
be.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be literally what you described, which is like there's a random chance of 1 in some absurd number of you getting it on a particular day, and then you get it. Is it Jinx, Jinx?
Jinxed, Jinxed Idol. Yeah. I'll show it to you.
Idol, like IDOL.
Hold on. Jinxed Idol trophy. No, that's not Puzzle Birds.
It's not true. YPP Kono, it's not that I want to tell you.
Jinxed Idol speculation page on Wikipedia. Things
oh, wow.
we know about it.
Yeah. That's great. I totally was I'd forgotten about that one. Maybe I'll ask Krabby or Forculus, but not tell anyone. Wouldn't want to ruin years of speculation with the truth.
All right, so someone in chat says, pretty sure
one day.
every X amount of time it'll be available. So the first person to log in after that time will get it. That's why if you log in on Obsidian now, there's a good chance you'll get it. Okay, that's an interesting theory.
Yeah, I like that theory. Yeah.
But I just love that there's an entire page to it dedicated to it. I know we've run out of time, but did you ever read that book called The Secret? It's a treasure hunting book that came out in like the 70s, and it was someone had commissioned a bunch of like beautiful like Dungeons and Dragons-esque artwork and then written poems.
Yeah. I remember the book. I didn't read it, but yeah, I remember it.
Apparently the man who commissioned it was just really rich and had a lot of time on his hands and wanted to do something fun. And he was such a bad hint giver because his hints were basically like, go 50 feet from this tree, but then everywhere that he buried the treasure was in areas that were getting developed. So it was only 2 years after the book came out that all of the clues were irrelevant because everything had been paved over.
Brutal.
Yes, and there's a Facebook group of people who literally get together and illegally dig in parks and stuff looking for the treasure still, because he put it in these cases that you couldn't find it with a metal detector. So it was like solid gold like artifacts with some sort of casing that negated that. So you literally just had to dig. You can't just metal detect it. And one of them has been found out of 12. I love stuff like that. Well, anyways, that was a nice tangent for you. I appreciate you being on the stream, and thank you so much for your games. And I look forward to working for you with you some more.
Thank you for doing all that you do and for raising all this good money. I got a big pile of stuff behind me here to send out when people have bid for it all. Some real rarities in the box there. A few extra stickers to throw in. So I'm excited to mail all of that out when the addresses are all there. Awesome. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go on to our next hour. Thanks, Cleaver. Bye.
See you, Jazz.